Hello and welcome to Copperhead Road Homestead. Today I'm going to hoe my garden. I'm going to use a tiller. I want to show you what I'm doing. If you're interested, then stay tuned. So we are traditionally gardening, doing traditional gardening over here, which means tilling it. A lot of people in the permaculture world and in the homesteading world like to use back to Eden gardening or deep mulch method, and I really like that too in a lot of ways. But when you've got a huge space like that, that makes it a whole lot harder to do. Also, whenever I've tried it in the past, you kind of have to deal with a few bad years whenever you're doing it that way, because unless you've got something that's some wood chips that's got a great deal, or mulch that's got a great deal of green material in there in addition to the brown, then it's not going to do quite as well because it's kind of robbing the soil of nitrogen. There are other ways as well to do this, but since we're trying to do a large garden, it makes it quite difficult to do something other than a lot of traditional gardening. So I've got the rows here. You can kind of see it pretty well, actually. It looks like the rows of beans here, especially since it's so bright out there. That's why I've got my sun hat on, because I got a very short haircut and I don't want to get my head burned. Those of you who have short hair or have no hair, then please protect your skin. But I'm going to go over here and I'm going to use this tiller. I bought this. See it? It's little. It's only probably about a foot wide. Which is good in some ways. These rows are a little bit wider than that, so I could use a larger tiller if I wanted to. I can't till between the rows of corn because I put them so close together, but this is good for what I have. I've actually not even used it in 2 years. It's just been sitting out beside the house. I tried it a moment ago and it started up just fine. I bought this in California before we moved here, which has been about 3.5 years, and I probably had it a couple years in California, and I bought it used as well, so it's held up pretty well. It's an electric tiller, so that's one of the bad things, that it's kind of tied to electricity. If you have a small generator, that would work very well, but Chad's house is just on the other side of the camera here. I can show you. Chad's house is just right here, and whenever we built his house, or we had the shed delivered and then we finished it out and we wired it, made sure to wire some plugs on the outside for my own use and for his. So I'm going to plug into that with a couple of extension cords. If I don't have quite enough, I'm going to go up to the pond, and Papa I'm sure has some, but I'm going to try to hoe between these because that way the weeds don't get out of control. So watch and see if you'd like. Cord, but you get the idea. I'm just going between this row and I am hoeing it up. Now there's a couple good reasons in order to hoe your rows. I got about halfway through this row and it looks like it only took about a couple of minutes. So this is a really long row. Let me pace it off for you real quick. It's about 45 paces, so if you multiply it by about 3 foot a pace, then that's about 135 foot, so let's make it 125 foot. And I did about half of that in 2.5 minutes, so that's really pretty good. I got a few rows of beans here that I see came up, and if I did the same thing, if I put the corn just a little bit wider apart, but I'm not going to hoe in between the corn. You tell me down below if that's a good idea or a bad idea. Now, I didn't want to hoe at all. I was like, I'll just let the weeds grow up alongside with it, but Papa said that you got to hoe it, and some of the good reasons for doing that, among others, is aeration of the soil. That's going to allow nutrients to get down there a bit better, the soil and or the water and everything else, and also it prevents competition for the beans and the other things that are there. So I'm going to keep doing this. If you like things like this, then like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. If there are any other reasons that you might think of that I might need to hoe it, that are good reasons, I would love to hear what you have to say. That's one of the best things that I've seen so far about YouTube, is not only that it goes from me to you, that I get to teach you and show you, but you can teach me as well. well. So I would really love to hear what you have to say. Comment down below and let me know, and come back in tomorrow. We have a new video every day at about noon Central Time. Thanks.